morning, everyone. My name is Scott Morris. I'm the Director of Business Development Gaming for GTS Distribution. We're here with another one of our retailer to publisher webinars with one of our best publisher partners, Cryptozoic Entertainment. They have a very wide catalog and a lot of different things to talk about. Today, we're going to be talking about three specific games. We're going to be talking about Batman Ninja, which is one of my personal favorite combinations of two things on the planet. We're going to talk about the Morty Zone, which, as you can see on some of the screenshots here that Dekan is sharing, is a brand new dice rolling game based on Rick and Morty, the popular TV show, and specifically on an episode. And then we're also going to talk about a new game coming up called Steven Universe Beach-a-palooza. Say that 5 times fast and you'll win bonus points. As normal, as most of you know, if you've come to these webinars before, we like to wrap a financial incentive around it for the retailers as well. Anyone who pre-orders Steven Universe between today, Monday, November 11th, and next Monday, which I believe, if I do my math right, is the 18th, you'll get 52% off MSRP. So that's a great opportunity to pre-order a game and get a little bit extra margin on it, which is awesome. Dekan put it into chat, but I'll put it into chat again just to make sure everybody knows. Batman Ninja is 26 per case. Rick and Morty, Morty Zone is 12 per case, and Steven Universe is 10 per case. We'll put that in there just so everybody has that as well.
And a quick note on the Morty Zone too, there are actually 2 different case layouts. There's actually a cardboard corrugate, just restocked, sort of normal style. We also have a PDQ style that is kind of a rip open, put on your counter, fold up display for all of those games. So it's easier to use that way if you want.
Awesome. Excellent. So with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend, the Game Productions Manager at Cryptozoic, Dekan Wheeler. He is also known as the head of Voltron, Defender of the Universe, and the leader of all things awesome. But we're going to talk about a lot of different things today. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to let us know. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Feel free to let us know. If you haven't used the chat window before, it's really easy. Just hover over your computer screen. There's a little chat bubble at the bottom. You can send a message either to all panelists, which are myself and Dekan, and Jessica, our sales director, who's on as well, or you can send it to all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see the question as well. But we're happy to answer any kind of questions. As I say, everything is on the table. So with that, Dekan, I'm going to take my face that was made for radio, let it shut up, and let you take over and start talking about some awesome games.
Sounds great. All right, so I kind of have 5 points that I'm going to hit here today, guys. And first things first is, yes, I am production manager games, and I keep all the games on track, but I want to make sure everyone is aware that Cryptozoic doesn't just do games, and we do a lot of more stuff with GTS now with non-sport trading cards and collectible figurines and everything like that. We just had a non-sport release as well, and then I'll get back to games, which is what we're really here for a Bombshells trading card product 3, which has built-in collectible figures as well, so kind of a best of both worlds for that. This is one of the chases that can be found inside that box. If you want to talk more about that, you can send Scott questions, you can send me questions. We can talk more about that, but I want to make sure that everyone knew on the Cryptozoic website, there's a whole, everything we do product-wise that we go through, store finder, everything like that. So if you guys aren't on that, make sure you go there. There's a lot of information there. We try to keep that as up-to-date as possible with stuff that both our fans and the stores that we work with should know. But that's the basic start of it. That's point 1. So we've already gotten through a fifth of it. The next 5 points are, we're going to talk a little bit more about the product codes, the new releases, our pre-order, and some future plans. So number 2 is almost done as well. All the product codes are inside of that page now, as you could see. We're going to be talking a bit about Batman Ninja, Morty Zone, and Steven Universe Beach-a-palooza, which is a game that we're just starting to show off for the first time kind of today. So you guys get some preview on that as well. I'm not going to go like crazy downtown on how much is in the game and go into the nitty-gritty. That's for conventions and not live webinars, but I'll show you some stuff. So yeah, we have Batman Ninja, 26 per case, as Scott said, Morty Zone, 12 per case, and Steven Universe Beach-a-palooza is a card battling game with card drafting and battling at the same time, based off the Steven Universe's first 3 seasons and 3 different act decks, kind of like an Age 1, Age 2, Age 3, like 7 Wonders. And that's going to be 10 per case. All of those are the correct product codes. All of the solicitations I will be showing you. If you are missing the solicitations, please send Scott an email or myself an email. I am dekan.wheeler, WHEELER, at cryptozoic.com. If you have any questions and want to get on that solicitation list if you're not already. So all of that's basically the B2B bottom line. If you have any questions about that, I'll take a quick pause, but then I'm going to start jumping into some of the games coming up and just releasing right now.
Yep, no questions on the webinar chat yet, but just as
Great.
a reminder, if you haven't used it, I just had someone ping me. So if you're on mobile, there should be a menu button, and you can go to the menu and then chat, and then that'll pull up chat as well there, and you'll see the exact same things. So
perfect. So new releases. Morty Zone just released literally last week. It is based off an episode of not the same name. Funny little anecdote. While it was on the boat, they literally changed the name of the episode to Rick Die Repeat. But the episode literally premiered last night at 11:30 Eastern time. So we can talk everything about this game that we've been very close to the chest on until very recently. The basics of the episode is Rick dies, and he keeps living through multiple different lives as Shrimp Rick, as Wasp Rick, as a hologram Rick, all that until he's trying to get back to his normal Rick C-137 self. And this game is a roll and write game where we decided to throw as big of a dice as we could inside there. These are actual dice. My actual hands are pretty big, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Deacon, if you want to turn off your screen sharing, that'll give video back to your main video so people can see how big those dice are.
Okay, let me go ahead and take
I've actually seen this game in person at Essen, and I can tell you these are probably the biggest dice I've ever seen in a game.
All right, I have it on screen share. How do I hide the screen share real quick? Because I'm a big dummy.
You just have to, at the very top, there should be a little bar if you kind of mouse over the top of your window, and it'll come down.
Stop sharing.
And then it'll come back to you. Yep,
all right, so here is the dice that are inside the game. Here is a standard D6 that I have from a My Little Pony set that I was sampled at one point. So you can see that they're about an inch on each side, big, easy to read. There's a tray inside of the box top that you can throw them in. Again, easy to make it read. And this is about the size of the box, about the same size as Epic Spell Wars boxes. Otherwise, also inside of there are nice thick play boards, which show you how your roll and write works. It's all dry erase, roll and write. There, I didn't draw very well, but at least you can see that it comes on, comes off, ta-da. But basically, it is a very easy to learn roll and write where you have 3 different colors of dice, green, red, black, and blue, 2 of each. And when the common player rolls those dice, you decide either if you're going to use the sum of both those dice on your board or any combination that adds up to that sum and mark it off on your board. As soon as you can't for a color, that color is locked. As soon as all 4 colors are locked, that round is over for every player. Once everyone's 4 colors are locked, sorry. And at that point, you go ahead and tally things up and do it 3 more times. The person with the highest score wins. And there are various public objectives that you're going for on your side. Private death crystals, which are a big part of that episode, that you're going for at the same time. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It's a very easy to learn roll and write game. You don't have to try to track like Double So Clever's yellow dice do this, red dice do this, green dice do this. It's just 3 different flavors of dice that you're trying to make, 4 different flavors of dice that you're trying to remember. I already scored that in that one, so I really don't need a 4. Maybe I do a 6 and try to go as long as you can.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I hope I say it right, don't slaughter it. There's a character in the game that was voiced by Taika Waititi, who was the director of Thor Ragnarok and Korg in the movie, right? Yep,
that is Gluty.
Gluty. I just saw a exclusive pop of him too this weekend, which is kind of comical since we had this plan for today, which is kind of cool.
So there's a lot of kind of he's kind of, they decided that he's their lead man for this season, so we that's the assets that we got, and we're showing them off.
Not a bad guy to lean your chips into.
Exactly. So here's the solicitation for that. Again, if you aren't on the solicitation list, it's very easy to get on that solicitation list. Scott can get you on there, or he can get me to get you on there, or ABCDEFG. Send me an email. But there is the solicitation, little key selling points, and everything that you need as a content summary, UPCs for everything. Yeah. There's the Morty Zone that just released last week. Any questions about Morty Zone?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously Cryptozoic has a couple of different Rick and Morty games that are available right now between like Rick and things like that. You have the new the kind of Griffin engine game with Rick. I think this is the first roll and write for Rick.
This is our first roll and write. The things that we try to do with the Rick and Morty line is we try to lean it into an actual episode for sure. Every single one of them has been named after a specific episode, and we try to capture the flavor of that episode. And in this case, both Rick and Morty are trying to balance their fates and get through various different timelines of their life to get to an end that they would like to have of their life, and or multiple lives in some characters, without giving too many spoilers. That's a rolling right. That's just a rolling right. So you're trying to gauge your push your luck in a way that dice are fate, and move down a fate track that works best for you to get the most points to get the best life. But other ones have been very specific to those style of games. Total Recall is a social deduction game because that's all that they're doing, is sitting around a table trying to shoot each other and not kill the right people or the wrong people. Mr. Meeseeks is all about pushing a big button. I mean, that's Mr. Meeseeks. And yeah, I mean, every single one of our Rick and Morty games is a different game for different people based off that episode, so that we're never trying to rehash the same game twice. We want them all to be unique experiences and unique entryways into the gaming hobby. So they're all trying to be complexity of like kind of two. We know we're not the most complex games, but that's because we're trying to get people that maybe never played games before to play them.
Yeah, I think one of the nice things that kind of stands out to me about this game is that while there are a lot of different Rick and Morty options for people, this year has kind of been the year of the roll and write. It seems like there is just a multitude of roll and writes available. And unfortunately, while that's good on one hand, it's also bad on the other hand, because there's so many that just kind of blend together and bleed together, and they're just, this is a roll and write with no theme. It's do this, do that, draw this, and that's what it is. And they all work mechanically, and that's good. But when it's this time of year, when it's holidays, when you get foot traffic coming in that is not normally your regular clientele foot traffic walking in, it's a really good opportunity for people to turn around and say, look, here is a great style board game, great style, gaming experience in terms of rolling dice and writing down statistics and writing down your numbers. But it's also combined with a IP that people are familiar with, that people will know. I would venture to say most people, even if they are a casual person walking into a hobby store or hobby retailer, have some recollection of hearing Rick and Morty or know of it, of course. And then being able as a retailer to kind of direct them towards that purchase is a really easy sell to say, oh, have you heard of Rick and Morty? Oh, yes, I love it. Oh, well, great. Here's this great new roll and write game. And what's a roll and write? Oh, well, this is what you do, right? It kind of leads itself, almost sells itself along the way with the positives of kind of standing out in that roll and write category.
And it also works on from a hyper fan perspective as well. The hyper fans that are like, hey, you got to try Double So Clever. Hey, you got to try this 1v1 dueling game. Hey, you've got to try Resistance. People are like, I don't know what Resistance is. And then you could say, well, how about we try Total Recall first? It's a $15 game. I can get it real quick. I know that you love Rick and Morty. You'll get the idea of the theme, and then you can go into Resistance with that same sort of, okay, I kind of know what's going on. So you can start it as a gateway. You can use most of the Rick and Morty and DC games that we do as kind of gateway drugs, I hope.
Perfect.
To get people in.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's Rick and Morty, Morty Zone. It's a roll and write dice game. And if there's any other questions, we'll talk about them later. I kind of have an area to stop and wrap up for questions too. Yep. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and switch on over to Batman Ninja, which has been long rumored, long worked on, long delayed, but out. I apologize on the delay on this one. It just has taken a long time to get some of the art stuff figured out. And art stuff is important. It's why our flavors work, to continue the ice cream metaphor. So yeah, Batman Ninja is the next crossover pack. We're just releasing it last week as well. The two biggest back of box how to play differences is this is still an upgrade pack for all of the DC deck building games, and it does two things very differently. One, all of the heroes it's not heroes, the villains, stop share, are oversized. So here's the Joker. And if you look, there is a top and sides of these that have various different requirements on them. These will eventually start gathering cards of the same type on them, because when you defeat these villains, you're not going to get the villain. It's too big for your deck, but you'll get what's attached to it, the things that they have brought into their area. So you get to choose as a player what cards go from the lineup onto those spots too at the beginning of your turn if there's a spot available. So you can also kind of play against other people as well. So that is a big part of this game, is dealing with these villains. And if you look, they're actually, a lot of them are pretty strong in and of themselves. A lot of them are above 10 as well, which means they're a lot harder to defeat. But secondarily, there is because of how hard some of these are to beat, there is a new player ability called ninjutsu, which is on these cards as well. And ninjutsu is basically an anti-deck building construction style of word. You can decide to bump up the power of the card by playing it for its ninjutsu cost, which basically means you add it back to the lineup. So you either get like on Warhorse, let me double check on that. So this one says +1 power, and you put a hero from your discard pile on the top of your deck. Great, you're going to start building a better turn. If you want to ninjutsu it, you could put all of your heroes on the top of your deck instead and still get that +1 power, making it a much better play. But then someone else can buy it maybe.
Does that go back into the lineup immediately
Yes.
in a way that's face up that the next player could immediately buy it?
Yes.
Cool.
That's how that goes. And because that's because I was showing my big Voltron thing later, right? So I showed a Voltron earlier. All 5 of the villains, and this happens in the movie as well, kind of form a big Voltron for the end battle. And if you look, it costs 20 to defeat this guy. Pretty hard to take that out. So to defeat that, and none of the other characters actually have a power or a VP total on them at all. So you don't get VP totals from them. You get the cards that are attached to them as VP, but this is another 10 VP if you can defeat this for 20. Likely, if you're the one that takes out the final Voltron, you're gonna be very likely to win. But it takes 20 to do so, which might take like 7 or 8 ninjutsus or something like that if you do it right.
That's pretty awesome. That changes the gameplay of the game a lot in terms of the strategy. I know, DC Rebirth did a tremendous job earlier this year of kind of offering a new and a fresh approach on the I guess, really kind of patented formula for what DC deck building game has been for so many years. But a lot of the expansion packs generally are just kind of a little bit more of what you already love and a little bit more of what's awesome.
Yep.
This is actually completely changing like your style and your strategies and how you're playing it and what your choices are for everything. There was a game, I don't want to get into it or mention as to who it was, but there was another deck building game that had the option to play cards directly from the lineup or from the main area that you would buy from this year. That did very well. I think that this is a unique style as well, in that you're getting an awesome ability, but you're giving up the risk of giving that awesome ability to the very next player if they're able to buy that and acquire that. So that's a really good trade-off of decisions, which is cool.
Yeah, deck building is no longer just a game type. It's a mechanic. So we can't just be a deck building game, which is what our name is. The name of the game is, but you need to be able to play with that a little bit more than just that. So we are definitely aware of that and playing with how deck building is a mechanic, not a game type. So yeah, that's Batman Ninja. It just released for $13, just like normal. It has all of the multiverse box dividers and randomizer cards, so you can use that still inside the box, put it straight inside of your multiverse box, everything you need to make it compatible with all of the other DC deck building games. And including Rebirth, which is a little bit of a new style of play, like you said. The Rebirth, we can kind of lean back into that one just a little because it's a release that recently happened as well. There's actually a whole page in the rulebook, if you're not aware, that tells people how to bring all of the stuff they already have in Cerberus games into a movement-based Cerberus game, and helps work that through as well. So if there are people that like to create their own worlds within Cerberus, which is one thing that we kind of like about Cerberus and all of our deck building titles, they still can. Rebirth doesn't straight up start a new tree growing. It's just a different branch on that tree.
Yeah, Rebirth did very well earlier this year from its release around Gen Con to now. So that's definitely a good thing. It's that IP is really, really easy this time of year, right? Someone walks into your shop and you're talking to them about, new gift ideas or different things and what kind of players they have or what kind of gamers they have. Being able to turn around and say, have you heard of Batman? I pretty much would say 99% of everyone has heard of Batman. So that's pretty easy setup. I like the idea of the throwing stars too and the graphics. That's really cool.
No, I mean, we really tried to make it feel right. It's not just a overlay. If you look at it, there's kind of a drawn circle worth of it, and you can kind of even see some of the texture inside the card art like an old Kenji style painting.
That's
So
very cool.
These are painted, and we even did a whole painting look for the oversized cards as well. I can show them. I don't know if I have them on the sell sheet right now, but when you were looking at them, there's a look to those as well that makes them look painted. So yeah, that's Batman Ninja. It just released as well. This and the Morty Zone are our two last releases for 2019, and now we can start talking about 2020 a little bit with Steven Universe.
Awesome.
Before I start jumping into Beach-a-palooza, the Steven Universe card battling game, is there any other questions about anything that we've released this year? We can also answer them at the end.
Yeah, no, nothing that's popped up right now yet, other than the ones that I've already asked.
Great. All right, so the first thing that I want to point out on this box, game design, Erica and Andrew. They are two great designers right now. Andrew is doing a lot of stuff with, just finished up his tenure at USAopoly, or the OP, and is worked on some of the Hogwarts and Thanos Rising games with the big figure in the center. And Erica is currently working on a game for Renegade that's on Kickstarter right now. And both of these are fantastic designers. We've been very happy to work with them. And the reason why we decided on working with Erica and Andrew is Steven Universe is their fandom. That is one of their biggest fandoms out there. Some people can theorycraft about Star Wars day long. I'm a Star Trek fan myself. I could tell you exactly why the Narada incident is a problem. However, this is theirs. And I've been a Steven Universe fan, don't get me wrong, but they've been correcting me. So if there was problems during design, I would ask them about it, and they say, no, trust me, this is why we were doing that. And I said, okay. So that's a big part of what this game is. We did a nice custom piece of art for the top. We're trying to do a lot more premium stuff inside our boxes as well. So there is interior printing as well for these boxes to help lay out things nice. We're also doing, go ahead and stop the screen share so I can show you some of the items in it. We have nice big gems to track the energy. There are two types. These are the 5 count gems that are used to track things, but there are also smaller pink gems that are used to track things as well. Not too small, hopefully, that they get lost, but we're still getting our final samples in on that one. Basically, what you're doing is drafting in a different way that you have before. You take 9 cards from the deck face up. Sorry, not face up, in your hand, 9 cards in your hand. It plays up to 6 players, so it has a 54 card deck, and so 9 players can all play, and the deck just disappears. And on your turn, you decide 2 cards to keep. One that is going onto your stage, which is basically you're building a really cool party as Steven Universe. Steven Universe is a 10 to 12-year-old kid, depending on what season you're talking about. He's just trying to make a really cool band with his friends. And then you're also going to put down an audience member, a townie from the city. And then you are going to take a card that you may not want and put it face up in a center area that other people can then pull from later. So those are the 3 cards you take from hand. You pass it left or right. Take 3 from the 6, pass it left or right. Depending on where you are in the game, you might be start taking them from the center area instead. And then 3 more. And then you go ahead and go through battles between those rounds. So as Steven's party is happening, the party crashers come to try to take them out. And these are different characters that are escaping from their bubbles, and they need to be rebubbled. So if you look, we have the Corrupted Bird Gem, we have Heaven Beetle, Centipedal. All of these are characters that were in seasons 1 through 3 of Steven Universe. And all of them take a certain amount of damage to hit. And they give you a certain amount of things back, either energy, which are the diamonds, Cookie Cat points, which are the points for the scoring of the game, or drawing cards, or something along those lines. Depending on who is attacking them, they also get positives and or negatives. So in this case, we have Pearl and Amethyst. They get +1 point whenever they damage it, but also at the end of turn, they get negative point of negative energy if it's still around. So it incentivizes.
Can you share your screen again, Deacon, so we can see the?
No, I can't do that. I'm just talking about it. Let me go ahead and actually share the screen again. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no,
I
no
forgot
worries.
where I was.
No worries.
All right, here are actual images of what I was talking about. So if
go.
you look at the Heaven Beetle right here, you can see it costs 2, 3, 2, 3 to attack. and you get a certain amount of bonuses otherwise. Amethyst and Pearl get +1 point if they are doing the damage. They also get negative energy at the end of turn if this is still out in front of you. And depending on the player count, there's going to be more or less in front of you, just like other styles of games that help balance that as well. So yeah, you're all working on trying to defeat these to get points for doing that. And if you also are the last person to damage them, you get points as well. When you do damage them, you track them by putting one of those gems that you spent to damage them onto that spot. And you do so with your character. So here's Amethyst. She starts with 4 energy. You have to have 4 energy to play her. And you can then spend her energy to do either 2 energy to do 1 damage, or 4 energy to do 3 damage in stage 1. As the acts get better, these characters also get better, and you might need to redraft them back out as their more powerful selves. As the show goes on, there are more powerful characters that go on. And you can also decide to fuse them with each other as well for a simple, a bigger hit as well. So those are also possible as well, but they don't stay around as long and they cost a lot of energy. So you have to decide when is the right time to do that. So you guys are actually some of the first time people seeing this art. We're just getting it approved now and this whole layout, but this is the basics of it. To show you the back of box again, to give you a quick back of box thing, you try to score points on the Cookie Cat right here. You do so by doing damage to these party crashers, and they give you points as Cookie Cats or more energy to play more cards that you can play on your stage or as an audience member. And that's basically Steven Universe as a starting point for you guys. We are looking at bringing it out in Q1 or Q2 of 2020, depending on how Lunar New Year tracks and how quickly we can get things out of China and or not. But the goal is to actually be demoing it and showing a lot at Gamma in Reno this year. This is going to be one of our launching titles for this next year.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up now, I'm probably going to lose my geek card a little bit on this. So I've never seen an episode of Steven Universe.
Okay.
But the things that I've known from all the Cryptozoic games that I've been able to play and enjoy in my life is that if you are a fan of the IP, it hits home. It's something that you guys take a good amount of time to sit down and like you said, you know, with Erica and Andrew being, this is their jam, this is their baby. They take the time, both from a design perspective and from a development perspective, to truthfully hit on all those hot buttons that a fanboy would want, right?
Yeah.
DC deck building game, obviously been super successful for a very long time. Several Rick and Morty games, like we talked about, being available and being successful and in very different formats, right? I mean, you have the giant Pickle Rick game, you have the smaller Griffin game. There's so many different styles of that. The Cerberus engine was something that I remember a couple of years ago when you guys started. You were like, oh, you know, we have these different ideas for different things between, you know, DC and Street Fighter and all these different ideas coming together. And now to see things like Annihilageddon, like getting, you know, Epic Spell Wars being moved into that, you can see that it's something that it's not just a good game, but it's also servicing the people who are the fanboys, like you said, the ultra fans for all that stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine that someone who is into Steven's universe is really going to enjoy and appreciate the fact that, you know, Erica and Andrew and the development team at Cryptozoic has like put a lot of thought into, you know, how does this hit home with all those type of fanboys?
Yeah, we had a lot of meetings with a lot of designers in 2018 to try to source the right people that we wanted to work on this. And when we brought hey, Erica, are you interested in doing something with Steven Universe? She's like, oh, this is my favorite thing ever. So it was a very easy, it would just meshed immediately. So we realized that that's important to them. It's important to you. And if you're not excited about what you're doing, then why are you doing it? So we're really excited about working with Erica and Andrew on this one, and we're really excited about the game that's coming. We just want to make sure, we've been making sure this past year that it's been beautiful, and now we're getting the final stages of approvals with Cartoon Network, and depending on when those approvals finally happen, we will be able to, go crazy with it.
Awesome. And just as a reminder to the retailers, if you do pre-order Steven Universe Beach-a-palooza between this Monday, the 11th, next Monday, the 18th of November, 2019, then you'll get 52% off SRP pricing, which is a great opportunity to kind of pre-order a game ahead of time, get a little bit extra margin for when it comes out in early of 2020, which would be awesome.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and, Scott, I'm going to make sure that you have these solicitations after this as well. So
that'd be great. Thank you.
Has a question, you can easily get it to them as well.
Yeah.
So those are going to be easily grabbed.
Did have an interesting question come up. I'm not sure what the answer is to this one. You may know it. If someone wants to be part of your store locator that's on your website, what is the easiest way for them to do that?
You just sign up with make a Cryptozoic account that works with our forums and everything like that. It should guide you through the process.
Oh, awesome. Excellent.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. And if there is any problems getting yourself on the store locator, again, email Scott or myself.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure it happens.
That's another good question. If retailers have additional questions, Deacon, do you want them to email you directly, or do you want them to email
They're more than welcome to.
Or?
They're more than welcome to email me directly.
Okay, great. All right. It's Deacon.
And I'm on all of the Facebook group industries, stuff like that too. So if there's a question that you think other people would be interested in answering, go ahead and post something with me tagged inside of the game secret Facebook group or Gavin's group or whatever. All of those things that everyone's aware of.
Speakeasy handshake area there is. I can say Deacon is definitely very engaged with the community. He does a really good job keeping kind of his finger on the pulse as to what's going on, which is really, really good. So, awesome. Well, there's been no additional questions that have come in, but I just want to take a second and thank you, Deacon. I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about these awesome games. I personally am very excited about Batman Ninja because I think it's really awesome combination, and the whole idea that the new gameplay is really, really slick. I like it when it's not just more of the same, but it's more of the same with a twist, which is really cool. Rick and Morty looks like a great roll and write. I keep, for some reason, in my head, I know there's going to be retailers out there that are like marketing this with Rick Roll Your Friends or something like that.
It was something that we were playing around with, to be quite honest, but we were worried about it being too much of a joke. But please go for it.
Exactly.
There are some things that have also been barred from talking about on the Rick and Morty. There were some funny joke stickers on the big pickle that I made at some point that I wasn't allowed to print. There were some funny jokes.
Nice.
So before we end up, Scott, I'm just going to go through some of our future plans kind of on an thing for 2020, and then we can go ahead and see if there's any questions then. Otherwise, we can finish up and go on to our very busy Mondays, I'm certain.
That'd be great.
So some of the future plans, just some stuff that I want to make sure you guys are aware of. We're still going to be going heavy with DC deck building. We really want to keep expanding the 3 different ways the game plays. We have the kind of the standard OG format, which is a deck building game, which all the crossover packs really influence, and the crisis packs influence. We have a couple of games that we have this crossover pack that just released. We have a couple more crossover packs that we have in mind. We have 5 ideas. We're going to be doing a fan vote here real soon to see which is the right one.
And just so you know, Deacon, your screen is still on the Steven Universe.
Okay.
If you're showing anything in video, it's not.
I'm not showing anything important. I'm just talking. But now you can see me talking.
Yes.
So yeah, the standard way of playing is still very important to us. Just because we release Rebirth doesn't mean that any of your fans that might have issues with, hey, Rebirth isn't my style, I want to go back to the standard. Great, it's coming. There's also confrontations play, the rivals and the confrontation box. Those we're still aware of that, and we have some plans for future stuff there. Maybe not in 2020, but we do want to do more with that. And then we want to do scenario packs, scenario expansions for Rebirth as well. The only reason why stuff doesn't come out quicker is because we want to make sure it's both fun and make sure that we get the right stuff figured out with DC. Sometimes getting the right art to match the cards takes a little bit longer than it would if we were able to draw it ourselves. But we know that people enjoy the art directly from the comics, so we take our time to make sure we source that and get that approved through their legal houses. So sometimes that does take a little bit longer, and we're sorry if it does, but we want to do a lot of DC games and keep them rolling so that they are out forever. Next is we're expanding Epic Spell Wars. We're just putting the final touches on art for what will be Epic Spell Wars Normal 5. So we're doing a high school themed Epic Spell Wars coming out. That's the first time anyone's heard that one, so have fun with that. I'm not telling too much more about that, but it's going to be the standard pun-induced Mad Libs quality source delivery style, build the funniest spell that you can / synergize the funniest spell you can. That's coming next year, but we're also doing more deck building game expansions. The Analogeddon seems to have done well, so we're going to continue and figure out expansions for that. And we're concepting a third style of play within Epic Spell Wars that we're still playing around with new play testing and figuring out how well that works with some cool ideas. More on that later. Some questions for you guys, actually. We still do want to support Epic Spell Wars and DC with organized play. So if you guys have any questions or things that work best for you, please feel free to reach out to me on that. It's something that we still want to do and continue to do so and do it right for you guys. We also are planning on growing the Griffin engine, which is those small box games that we did Look Who's Purging and Super Friends with. I have stuff for hopefully 2020 that is digging into some of the cooler retro titles that Warner Brothers has under their licenses, as well as some of our internal properties such as Cryptkins. Yeah, if you have another question for you guys, if you have anything that you'd love to see from DC, WB, HBO, any sort of stuff that you know that we have worked with in the past, if you think there's a $15 game in that Griffin engine that works and you think is the best choice, let us know. We do like reaching out to you guys and getting what you think works as well.
Awesome.
And then
I did put your email in just so everyone has it in
perfect.
chat as well, and we'll make sure to put it into the recorded version so the notes that people can reach out to you as well. But I do think that's great because I'm sure there's a lot of retailers who have people come in and pick up the games and go, hey, this is cool. Man, I really wish they would do X, right? Whatever X may be. So that's a great opportunity to provide some feedback and hopefully maybe make a product that can become a future thing.
Exactly. Yeah. We only know as much as sometimes we're told. So
yes.
we live in this weird bubble of Lake Forest office that we all just type away at computers and make fun things, but they're only as fun as we think they are too. So if you think of something that is more fun, not funner, that's not good grammar. If you think of something that is more fun, please let us know. And last but not least, we are in talks with quite a few exciting IPs. It's hush hush for now, but we do want to have more information at Gamma, hopefully, about other groups that we are hoping to work with in the near future that are hopefully very exciting to everyone.
Cool. Derek just asked a question. This is more for us on the GTS side, but it's a kind of a technical question. He said, to better handle pre-orders that get the extra discount due to the webinar, would it be possible for GTS to create an item code such as webinar discount that could be pre-ordered by the sales rep with the item at that time? Well, that is something we're actually looking at, Derek. We're actually looking at a couple of different ways to kind of improve the webinars. If anyone hasn't seen, we actually just sent out a survey recently online to be able to get some feedback from all the retailers that are attending. We are looking into what our ERP system can do. I think the big challenge and the big hurdle with that right now is GTS is actually going to be going through an ERP change. So anything we implement now may not be implementable, if that's the right word, in the future. So we're trying to see what will work now and what will work in the new version of the ERP to kind of make that as simple and as easy as possible. For the most part, I know we have not had too many problems with any of that at all, but if anyone does have any issues or concerns or anything like that, you can always reach out to us anytime. My email is just smorris@gtsdistribution.com. I can get anybody internally at the company engaged and involved. So if we need to get Jessica, our sales director, or Bobby, our marketing director, whoever we need to get, to make sure that all that stuff is working as it should be, like a well-oiled machine, we're happy to do that for you. So, but yes, that is something we are looking to kind of make a technical, fix on to make it as simple as possible, which would be great. Cool. The last question, which someone sent me through Facebook Messenger, thank you. It's kind of weird, but it came through. They want to know what the purple dice set is behind your left shoulder there.
Oh, that is a sample that I got that is friendship and is magic.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. They were wondering if that was some secret cryptozoic product that no one knew.
It's just me. I need to have a set of D6 around if I need to roll up some stats.
Nice. There you go. Well, it also shows the difference in the size of the Rick and Morty dice.
That's why I grabbed it, because they're definitely, I mean, if you missed it earlier on, I don't know if I was showing it well or not, but they are significantly different.
They're gigantic, yeah.
But they make it very easy to see too, which is great for a communal dice rolling game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. Awesome. Okay, well, with that, Dekan, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you taking the time to join us. Cryptozoic, as we mentioned, is one of our largest partners. They do quite a bit. Dekan mentioned it briefly at the beginning. They are much more than just games, too. They have a lot of collectible cards. They have a lot of collectible toys. GTS has almost everything in their catalog available to you. So if you have any time today, it's a great opportunity to just go to gtsdistribution.com, type in Cryptozoic, and see all the different things that are in the catalog. The 3 new games look awesome. Really do appreciate you taking the time to tell us about Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, and Batman Ninja. And again, as a reminder, if you pre-order Steven Universe between today, the 11th, and next Monday, the 18th, you'll get 52% off. Retailers, thank you. I know this is one of the busiest, craziest, wackiest times of the year with holidays and the mass foot traffic and just like everyone, you know, having things going on all at once. So really, really do appreciate you taking the time to join us. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Dekan directly at Dekan Wheeler, Wheeler at cryptozoic.com. I put that into the chat as well. And if you have any questions for us on the GTS side, feel free to email me anytime, smorris at GTS Distribution.
My name is pretty easy to remember. It's just naked backwards. If you can see naked backwards, you'll always be able to spell
I cannot unsee that now. Oh,
Yep.
my goodness. Okay.
You got to own it. You got
Names
to
that
own
will
it.
come from that are going to be amazing.
Yep. All right.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful week in your stores, and we will talk to you next time.